Hi, everyone, and welcome back to English Medium Podcast with Lily, the show where we make English feel like a tool you can rely on, not a test you have to pass. I'm Lily, your host, and today we're tackling something almost every intermediate or advanced learner hits at some point. Those awful, sinking moments when your mind goes completely blank mid-sentence. You know the feeling, right?
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Mike. I've blanked at the worst times. Presentations, coffee chats, even once in a meeting with my CEO. I'm here to prove that it's not just you. It happens to all of us.
Exactly. Today, we'll normalize the experience, explain what's happening in your brain, and most importantly, give you practical strategies to handle blanks in real time and build long-term resilience. We'll break this into short segments so you can follow along, and we'll finish with quick exercises you can practice right after you listen.
Perfect. I'm ready. And I'm already practicing my I forgot script.
Before we dive in, a quick note to our listeners. If this episode helps you, please share it with one friend who's learning English. The more we talk about blanks, the smaller they become. All right, segment 1, the blank mind phenomenon. Mike, how would you describe that first freeze?
Honestly, it's like your brain hits the eject button. 1 second you're speaking, the next, nothing. You see the blank look on your face, you panic, you try to think of the word, and that panic makes it worse. It's a tiny crisis, but it feels huge.
Yes, and that's a perfect description. Let's normalize it. Blanks are universal. Native speakers blank out too. It doesn't mean you're not fluent or smart. It means your brain is juggling too many things at once: vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, social signals, and something has to pause.
Hmm, so it's not just me trying to be perfect, because I definitely think I should know this word, and then I feel stupid.
Right. Which brings us to segment 2, the anatomy of a brain freeze. Here's how I like to explain it: simple, practical neuroscience. When you're speaking, multiple brain regions coordinate to find words, shape sentences, and monitor the social context. If stress or multitasking ramps up, your working memory gets overloaded. It's like trying to run 5 apps on an old phone. One of them just crashes.
That makes sense. So the brain freeze is a system overload.
Exactly. And there's a chemical side too, which we'll get to later. Cortisol and stress hormones that inhibit the Broca's area, the language center that helps retrieve words. But for now, think too many demands, not enough space.
Got it. So then, what plays the bigger role, the actual processing load or the fear of judgment?
Great question. That leads us to segment 3, the hidden villain, fear and perception. The fear of being judged or sounding stupid often turns the volume up on that overload. When you worry, you use cognitive resources to monitor your image instead of retrieving words. It's double work. And interestingly, perception is powerful. Once you expect a blank, your brain is more likely to produce one.
That's exactly my trap. I expect it, then it happens, and I'm like, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes, Mike, and listeners, I want you to hear this. Expecting a blank doesn't mean you're incompetent. It means your brain is trying to protect you from social risk by being hyper attentive. Our job is to change the response, not shame the brain.
Okay, so story time? You said you had a good one for us.
Oh no, that's your segment. Segment 4, story time, a relatable failure. Mike, walk us through that first English conversation at work you mentioned.
All right, picture me, fresh expat Mike, first week at a tech company. I was in a small group meeting trying to explain an idea. I wanted to say scalability, but scalability just vanished. For the longest 30 seconds of my life, I tried to mime it. I tried 3 different words: growth, expansion, none fit. I even said that, the thing that helps the system grow. And everyone smiled politely. I left that meeting thinking I failed.
And how did you feel afterwards?
Mortified. I beat myself up. I thought, if I can't say one word, what else will I forget? It stuck with me.
But you kept going.
Yes. And later, I learned that scalability was a word I used rarely. I hadn't practiced it enough under natural conditions. That helped me stop catastrophizing.
Which brings us neatly into segment 5, survival strategy, buying time. The first tool is learning to stall gracefully. We teach professionals this all the time. Use filler phrases that buy you 5 to 10 seconds without looking flustered.
Give us examples.
Yes. Here's a short list of professional, natural-sounding fillers. Let me think for a second. That's a great question. I'm thinking about the best way to explain this. If I put it another way, or simple connectors like so and right. They sound normal and give you space to search.
I like, let me think for a second. It's honest and low risk.
Exactly. Also, practice tiny stalling techniques. Repeat the last word the listener said, reframe the point, or summarize what you were just saying while your brain reaches for the next word. These are social and linguistic bridges.
So it's not cheating, it's strategy.
Not cheating at all. It's communication skill. We're not aiming to hide blanks, we're aiming to handle them smoothly. Segment 6, daily brain training. One of my favorite practices is narrating your life out loud.
Narrating your life? Like now making coffee?
Yes, but do it a bit richer. When you walk, describe where you're going, your plan, how you feel. For example, I'm heading to the train, I'll grab a coffee on the way, then I have a call to review the project's milestones. It links thought to speech and trains retrieval under low pressure.
I used to think narrating out loud was for toddlers, but I can see how it helps.
It absolutely helps. It builds automatic pathways for common phrases and reduces the processing load during real conversations. You can also record short monologues on your phone and listen back. That's segment 25, record and review.
Record and review. I've forgotten that one. Listening back helps you catch your own tics.
Yes, and it reveals patterns in your blanks. Which words, which situations, what triggers the freeze. That data is gold. Segment 7, creative communication, replacing missing words. This one is huge. Learn to explain around a word.
Circumlocution, right? Like saying the thing you plug into the wall instead of charger.
Exactly. You can usually communicate your meaning, even if a precise word escapes you. Explain the function, give an example, use synonyms. People are almost always happy to follow. And often, while you explain, the missing word pops back in.
I've used that a lot, and sometimes the listener supplies the word, which is awesome.
And a note, using gestures too. That's segment 21, using gestures and nonverbal cues. Point, mime, move your hands to sketch the concept. It's natural and buys time.
Nice.
Nice. Many learners rush because they're afraid of silence or because they think speed equals fluency. But speed is the enemy of retrieval. When you slow down, you give your brain time to choose words deliberately and your audience time to absorb them.
So, slow is strong?
Yes, slowing down is a confidence signal. It reduces the chance of collisions between thought and speech. Practice with pauses, short, intentional pauses. And remember, listeners interpret pauses as thoughtful, not as blankness.
Good to know. I always felt a pause made people think I didn't know what to say.
They often interpret a pause as you choosing words carefully, which actually raises your credibility. Segment 9, Normalizing Mistakes. We have to dismantle the perfect speech myth.
Amen. I still remember correcting myself in a team chat and feeling like I had ruined my reputation.
But here's the truth. Making mistakes signals learning. Most people expect errors from language learners, and many admire the courage it takes to speak. When you make a mistake, a good move is to smile, correct if necessary, and move on.
Short and sweet. This is an audio episode. Conversational, relatable, encouraging, and informative, blending scientific insights with practical, actionable advice. About overcoming English-speaking blanks for intermediate to advanced English language learners who experience anxiety or mental blocks during professional or social conversations. The conversation is already underway. The previous line was, "You make a mistake, a good move is to smile, correct if necessary, and move on." Director's notes, style, conversational, relatable, encouraging, and informative, blending scientific insights with practical, actionable advice. Adopt a casual, conversational, and self-deprecating tone that feels like a friend sharing a story over coffee. Use natural, informal rhythm with occasional lighthearted laughs or pauses to emphasize the humor in your anecdotes. Your delivery should be authentic and grounded, focusing on relatability rather than perfect polish. Transcript, short and sweet.
Yes. Segment 10, Advanced Techniques for Success. We'll cover visualization, vocabulary clustering, and shadowing. Each is a long-term habit, but they dramatically reduce blanks.
Visualization. Explain visualization. Okay. Before I do, let me tell you how my brain functions when it comes to speaking English. Just a quick sidebar. So, when I'm speaking English, my brain actually functions well and thinks quickly when I'm speaking with someone who knows English, like a peer, a colleague, or a language partner. But this is all down to my visualization. I think about, okay, what are the 3 things that Pauls will say, let's say in 3 minutes? Then, a small part of my brain starts practicing how he'll respond to avoid blanks.
Visualization is mental rehearsal. Before a meeting, imagine the scenario in detail. The room, the people, the phrases you'll use. Picture yourself responding calmly. The brain practices the retrieval pathways so they are ready in real time.
So it's kind of like athletes visualizing plays.
Exactly like that. Vocabulary clustering is grouping words by topic or function, e.g., all words related to project management, so you can pull them as a set. Shadowing is listening to native speech and repeating immediately, which trains rhythm and retrieval speed.
I've done shadowing with podcasts. It felt weird, but useful.
It does feel odd at first, but it trains your mouth and brain to work together. Segment 11, The Big Truth. Fluency isn't knowing every word. It's being comfortable with imperfection and using strategies to communicate. The goal is effective communication, not perfect pronunciation.
That's freeing. I think that mindset shift helped me a lot.
It helps most learners. Segment 12, outro, call to action, will come at the end, but before that, we have some deeper science
tools.
and Segment 13, the science of stress and language. Here's the short version. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol, which can reduce activity in Broca's area, the part of the brain linked to speech production and word retrieval. So stress literally makes it harder to speak.
Whoa. So my panic is sabotaging me on a physiological level.
Yes, that means calming your body is as important as training your vocabulary. Which brings us to segment 14, breathing techniques for real-time calm. These are short exercises you can do mid-conversation without being obvious.
Tell us one now. These are short exercises you can do mid-conversation without being obvious.
Sure, a discrete 4-4 breathing, silently inhale for 4 counts, hold for 1, exhale for 4 counts. Or try a soft exhale-only micro breath. Silently let a gentle exhale for 2 or 3 seconds while you pause. These lower heart rate and interrupt the stress response. Try them in practice now. Just breathe with me.
Okay, doing it. Wow, that actually calms me.
Good. Another quick trick is to place a finger lightly under the chin and take a slow breath. Tactile cues can ground you. Segment 15. Active listening as a safety net. When you focus on the other person's words, you lighten the load of producing your own lines, and often the next topic or word appears naturally.
So, being a good listener helps me speak better. That's ironic in a good way.
Exactly. And when you repeat or paraphrase what the other person said, you're buying time and signaling engagement. Segment 16, the I forgot script. Let's give listeners a few graceful phrases they can memorize.
Yes, give me the lines I can use in a meeting.
Keep them short and confident. I'm sorry, the exact word just escaped me. I mean, give me a second. The right phrase will come back. I can't think of the term right now, but what I mean is, use any of those. Pause, then rephrase. The key is to be honest, but in control.
Those are great. I like the exact word just escaped me. Sounds calm.
It does. Segment 17, contextual anchoring. Before a high-stakes meeting, prepare mental maps, clusters of vocabulary, names, dates, and key phrases tied to the agenda. It only takes 10 minutes, and it primes your retrieval.
Walk me through a quick one.
Say you have a performance review. Create a tiny map. Topics, achievements, challenges, goals. Under achievements, list go-to verbs. Delivered, improved, led, nouns, Project X, metrics, on-time delivery, and phrases. I took ownership of, we reduced. Review this on the train. Your brain will hold those pathways ready.
Nice. That's actionable.
Nice. That's actionable. That's actionable. Your brain's retrieval functions are very sensitive to physical states. Poor sleep, dehydration, and low blood sugar make blanks more likely. So hydrate, get consistent sleep, and have a small snack before a long meeting if you're prone to dips.
I will never underestimate water again.
Good. Segment 19, managing multilingual interference. If you speak more than one language, your brain will sometimes reach for a word in another language. This is normal. Strategies include consciously label which language you're using, practice language switching exercises, and create translation delays, a brief mental pause to choose target language words.
I still slip into my first language on occasion. Any quick trick?
Yes. When you feel the switch, say a short filler in English, like, let me think. That resets your language context and helps pull your brain back into English mode. Also, practice single language days or sessions to strengthen separation.
Okay, I'll try single language coffee breaks.
Okay, I'll try single language coffee breaks. Okay, I'll tell you about the perfectionism trap. Many learners think they must sound native. That belief fuels anxiety. We need to reframe fluency as functional communication. Mistakes are evidence of learning, not failure.
So less be perfect and more be understood.
Exactly. Segment 21, we already touched on. Gestures and nonverbal cues. Use your body. A lot of meaning is carried visually. Segment 22, building a safe vocabulary list. Create your personal go-to list of words you always know, verbs, connectors, polite phrases that you can rely on in any situation.
Give examples of useful go-to words, like phrases that I use all the time to overcome anxiety or mental blocks when I'm trying to find my words or tell a joke.
Sure. Connectors, like however, on the other hand. For example, polite softeners like perhaps, I think, it seems. Core verbs like improve, manage, explain, recommend. Keep it to 30 to 50 words you practice daily.
I like having a mini toolkit.
I like having a mini toolkit. Practice saying one idea 3 different ways. For example, we exceeded our target. We went above the goal. We outperformed our expectations. This trains flexibility, so you're not stuck on a single word.
That sounds like a simple exercise I can do every night.
Absolutely. Segment 24, reframing the blank as a pause. Change the inner script from I'm failing to I'm choosing words carefully. Use that 5-second rule. Count slowly to 5 before panicking, which is segment 29.
Seems small, but powerful.
It is. Counting gives your brain a micro reset. Segment 25, we've discussed, record and review. Add this. When you listen back, don't just critique. Note moments when you handled gaps well. Reinforce good strategies.
Celebrate the wins.
Celebrate the wins. When you admit a struggle or say, I'm still learning, bear with me, people often respond with empathy and respect. Vulnerability builds connection.
I can testify. After I once explained that English wasn't my first language, a colleague helped me with a term. It turned into a bonding moment.
Exactly. Segment 27, debunking the native speaker myth. Native speakers blank out too. They use fillers like well, all the time. Fluency isn't perfection.
Everyone blinks.
Short. Everyone blanks. Environment design. Reduce cognitive load before important speaking. Turn off notifications, choose a quieter setting, or sit facing fewer people. Small environmental changes free up mental space.
I'm going to rearrange my setup for calls.
I'm going to rearrange my setup for calls. These little reframes change the stress response. Practice them aloud.
I like, my brain is recalibrating. It's kinder.
I like, my brain is recalibrating. It's kinder. Learning a language builds mental agility. Over time, those moments of blankness will become rarer. It's not an overnight fix, but consistent practice creates lasting results.
That's reassuring. The struggle itself is the training.
Okay, that's reassuring. The struggle itself is the training. Segment 32, final Q&A summary. We'll answer common listener questions now. Job interviews, presentations, meetings, and small talk. Mike, you've faced each of these, so let's role play.
All right, role play me into confidence. I definitely faced each of those, so let's role play.
That's a great question. Let me take a moment. Then start with, in my last role, I was responsible for. If you're stuck on a specific term, use circumlocution. Describe the responsibility, give a result, and anchor it with numbers if possible.
So mention impact even if I can't find the exact term.
Yes, impact is memorable. Interviewers care about results. Next, presentations. If you blank during a presentation, Use silence deliberately, then say, "I'll come back to that point," and move on. Audiences rarely notice missing a single detail. They care about the flow.
I used to freeze and try to recover every single word. That was terrible.
Better to keep the momentum. In meetings, use the "I forgot" script or ask a clarifying question. "Can you tell me more about X? I'm thinking about how it connects to Y." Questions create dialogue and relieve solo pressure.
And small talk?
Active listening. Ask follow-ups. People love talking about themselves. When in doubt, redirect with a follow-up. "How did you find that?" Or "What do you think about?" That buys time and builds rapport.
Great. Now, can we do some short, practical exercises for listeners to try right now?
Yes, we're going to give 3 short exercises you can practice in 10-minute windows. Exercise 1, the 5-minute narration. For 5 minutes, narrate your actions aloud, goals for the day, the steps you'll take, and one challenge. Use full sentences and try to vary vocabulary. Record it if you can.
I'll do it on my walk later.
Exercise 2, the 3-by rephrase. Pick a sentence from your work life. "We need to improve onboarding," and say it 3 different ways. Repeat 10 times with new sentences. This builds flexible phrasing.
Short and doable. Short and doable.
Exercise 3, shadowing a 2-minute clip. Pick a 2-minute podcast or video, listen once, then shadow. Repeat immediately with the speaker. Focus on rhythm more than perfect pronunciation.
That one hurt my mouth at first, but it's useful.
It does. Now, some quick scripts listeners can memorize. I'll say them. Mike, react after each one like you're using it. Script A. "I'm sorry, the exact word escaped me. What I mean is," go.
I'm sorry, the exact word escaped me. What I mean is, nice and calm, works for a meeting.
Let me think for a second. I want to give you a clear answer.
Let me think for a second. I want to give you a clear answer. Sounds professional.
Oh, that's on the tip of my tongue. Go.
Ugh, that's on the tip of my tongue. Sounds human.
Oh, that's on the tip of my tongue. Sounds human. Okay, let's practice a short 4-4 breathing practice. Breathe in silently for 4 counts, hold for 1, exhale for 4. Repeat twice. Breathe in silently for 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, 1, exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in again, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, 1, exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow, even that short practice calms me down.
Good. Now, a small cognitive trick. Anchor a physical cue to calmness. Put your hand on your heart while taking a slow breath. It becomes a conditioned calm over time.
I love that. Also, earlier we talked about vocabulary clustering. Can you give a quick example for a meeting about budgets?
Sure. Cluster budgets into 3 categories: planning, forecast, estimate, projections, allocation, allocate, distribute, prioritize, and results, variance, savings, overspend. Under each, list 2 verbs and 2 nouns. Review them before the meeting.
That's concrete. I'm writing that down.
Now, a few do's and don'ts. Do use fillers strategically, short, professional phrases. Do slow down. Don't record yourself. Don't apologize excessively. Don't switch languages mid-sentence. And don't punish yourself for blanks.
Say more about the don't apologizing too much. Actually, I relate to that so much. Do you ever find yourself apologizing for everything? Like, even when you're the one who's late, or when you bump into someone?
Excessive apologies draw attention to the mistake and increase anxiety. A brief acknowledgement is fine. Sorry, I missed that. Or let me rephrase. Then move on. Keep apologies functional, not emotional.
Short, useful rule.
Time for a quick myth busting. Myth: if I make mistakes, people will think I'm incompetent. Truth: most listeners value clarity, authenticity, and effort. Mistakes don't equal incompetence.
Myth, natives never blank. Truth, they do all the time.
Now, a longer anecdote. I once coached a client, Sarah, who froze in client calls. We worked on 3 things: a pre-call mental map, 2 I forgot scripts, and a short breathing routine. Within 3 weeks, her blanks decreased, and she said the worst part, the fear, had gone. She said, I stopped being afraid of silence. That line stuck with me.
I love that. Silence is underrated.
Let's role play a tough moment. Mike, you're in a client call, and the client asks about our churn metrics. You can't think of the word churn. What do you say?
Sorry, could you repeat that? Nah, that's weak. Maybe the term you just used, the rate people leave, do you mean attrition? Something like that.
Great. Or you could say, if I understand you, you mean the percentage of customers who stopped using the product? Then wait. Those reframing questions are both clarifying and buying time.
That feels safe.
We also promised tactical tools for phone calls. Phone calls are harder because you lose visual cues. Use simple connectors and a lot of reflective listening. So you mean? If I get you right, you're asking. These short phrases slow the pace and give you retrieval time.
I used to panic on calls. I'm going to print those phrases.
Good idea. Now, a listener Q&A, I'd expect, what if I blank during a public speech? Strategy: have a 30-second filler paragraph you can return to, a prepared anecdote, a statistic, or a short story. Hold a small note card with 3 anchor points. If the blank happens, read 1, breathe, and continue.
Smart. Anchors are safe.
Let's address multilingual interference with a little exercise. Pick 2 languages you use. For 1 minute, speak out loud only in English about a topic. Then switch to the other language for 30 seconds. Switch back to English for another minute. This trains your brain to switch contexts more cleanly.
I'll test that this week.
Now, a small pep talk. You're not a defective communicator because you blank. You're a learner with a brain that will adapt. With practice, those moments shrink and your confidence grows. Count the wins, not the slip-ups.
I'm already feeling more hopeful.
I'm already feeling more hopeful. Well, that's great. Let's dive into the scientific insights behind how this happens. And as we uncover these principles, we'll also share some practical, actionable strategies to help you overcome these blanks whenever they might arise. All right, let's start with the scientific side of things. When you experience a blank during a professional or social conversation, there's actually a mental block that's happening, rather than a speech block. So let's dive deeper into how that works. Okay, let's understand what our brains are actually doing when we experience this. When we're communicating fluently, our brains are operating with what's called fluidity, meaning everything is flowing and coordinating. But when a blank occurs, our brains switch into survival mode, just like in a fight or flight situation. These scientific blanks are actually coping mechanisms our brains are using to protect us. Okay, now that we know the science behind it, let's explore how we can break this automatic response. First, let's discuss our brain's learning system, which actually builds automatic patterns for communication. All right, one way we can shift this is by understanding what's happening in our speech centers. When we have a blank, our brains stop processing language in the same way when we speak. Absolutely. Good news for us, though. It's actually possible to reprogram this. One of the best ways is through practice and repetition, just like with any new muscle memory. Okay, well, now that we've covered some of the science behind it, let's discuss some practical strategies to put this into practice. Perfect. The first step is time management, which surprisingly can help alleviate anxiety. That's right. When you're speaking with fluidity, you're actually using less time rather than more. Absolutely. So let's discuss a specific plan to put this into practice. Okay, well, let's get started with a 7-day mini plan to reduce blanks. Day 1, record a 3-minute narration and review it. Day 2, create a safe vocabulary list of 30 words. Day 3, practice the I forgot scripts 5 times out loud. Day 4, do a 2-minute shadowing session. Day 5, design a mental map for an upcoming meeting. Day 6, practice 5-second rule counting in a mock talk. Day 7, do a full review, record a short presentation, and listen back.
That's doable. Short, focused practice. I like it.
Before we sign off, a practical cheat sheet of filler phrases listeners can jot down. Let me think for a second. That's a great question. I can't recall the exact term right now. I mean, if I put it another way, I'm leaning toward memorize 3 that feel natural to you.
I'll share 2 more. Could you say a bit more about that? And what I hear you saying is great for buying time.
Finally, quick science reminder. Take care of your body. Hydrate, sleep, eat something before big talks, and practice short breathing. Language is embodied. The body supports the brain.
Noted.
Okay, let's close with one last story. Mike, remember the follow-up to your scalability meeting?
Yes, I decided to own it. Next meeting, I said, last time I couldn't name the exact term, scalability, but here's what I meant. I explained it clearly, used numbers, and someone later pulled me aside to say they respected that I returned to it.
That's a perfect example of vulnerability turning into credibility. You admitted a blank and used it as a moment to clarify and build trust.
It was empowering.
All right, listeners, the big truth one more time. Blanks are normal. Use strategies. Buy time, rephrase, slow down, breathe, practice daily, and be kind to yourself. If you want a printable worksheet with the scripts and the 7-day plan, visit our show notes at speakeasypodcast.example. And please share your blank moments with us. We'll read some on next week's episode.
And send us your own I blanked story. The funny ones make great episodes. I promise you're not alone.
Thank you for listening. I'm Lily.
And I'm Mike. Keep practicing, keep failing forward, and we'll see you next time.
Remember, your words are worth waiting for. Bye.